Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I hope you're doing well today. It's been a little while since I've made a box, and I love making boxes, so I thought today would be a good day to do that. I've grabbed some of the beautiful paper from the, was it perennial lavender. Okay, I don't have very much left. I've been going through it pretty quickly. And then I've got some 12 by 12 pieces of solid color to coordinate. And I thought what I would do, Houdini says hi. I thought what I would do would be to start from scratch and show you how you can put a window aperture at the top of the box. So let me just check my settings, be sure that you can see me. And that looks good. I'm going to get out my trimmer and use the score blade on my trimmer. One of the reasons why I like this trimmer so much is that it has both the scoring blade as well as the cutting blade. And I'm just going to go ahead and score that at 4 inches on all sides. Now this is going to be a reinforced box, meaning that I'm going to double up the sides to make it extra sturdy. I like my boxes to be made to hold up over time. And then after I've got my 4-inch scored, I'm going to go back and I'm going to score again, this time at 2 inches on all 4 sides. Make sure this is all lined up. And this is the very basic way that I build most of my boxes. There's a lot of other ways of doing it, but I think this is not only the traditional way, but also, as I mentioned before, it makes a very sturdy box. And my feeling is that if you're going to go to the extent of designing and decorating the box, you want it to be a nice steady surface. So now I know you can't see those score lines very well, but what I'm doing is I'm just taking my scissors and I'm going to snip up to that second score line there. So I think you can see that. And I'm just going to go around on each corner, and this is going to be a square box, so therefore I want to stagger the corners. If it were a horizontal box, I would be doing the cuts all on one side. Okay, so once that's done, I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to come back and I'm going to remove the corner at a slight angle. So this is an angle cut. This is a straight cut. Slight angle cut. Straight cut. All the way around. These can be saved for die cuts. And then I'm just going to add my angle cut to the opposite flap. That one could be a little better. Alright, and then I'm going to take this little tab and I'm going to angle cut that on both sides. And these angle cuts simply allow for the to alleviate the gain as you fold all the various layers of paper together, and that way you don't have that little bit of the tab peeking through the top. Everything stays nicely tucked in. Okay. So there is my configuration. And next I'm just going to gently fold on these score lines. And then you should be able to see it a little bit better. I've been making boxes since I was super little. My great aunt Flossie showed me how to make a box when I was just about 4 years old, and I was mesmerized. And it's funny to me that here I am all these many years later and I still love making boxes. So the next thing I want to do is I have these dies. This is the Thoughtful Expression dies, and it's got these beautiful circular decorative shapes here, and I want to use those for the top of the box. And but I don't want to use the largest one. I want to come down to the second largest. And I want to get that on my box so that it's centered. And for this, I'm going to get out my sticky tape. So this is Post-it tape, so it's removable tape. And I'm just going to get that nice and centered. And I'm deciding, do I want the smaller scallops in the center or do I want the larger scallops? I think this time I'm going to go with the smaller scalloped. You can use any kind of die you like to do this, and this is one of the reasons why it's so great to have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and your dies, because you're able to create these types of cuts deep inside a project. So it would be really tricky to do this by hand, and you may not be happy with the result. And you could never do it with a punch because you couldn't fit a punch that deep into the project. So that's why the dies become so important. So once you've got your die in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in two sides of my box. And now this measures 8 inches. All right, I'm going to have to come in a little bit more. Okay, so let me show you how to manage this. Now there are embossing and cutting machines that are bigger, but we can fit this on here if we fold in those flaps carefully. So we're going to have to fold it up on one side and up on the other so that it measures 6 inches wide. That's the width of paper that the machine will allow you to put through without bending it. Just going to run that through. Move my tape. Okay, and there is my aperture. This I can save. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of gluing. And I'm going to begin with my side flaps, or tabs. You would call these tabs. And I'm just going to make sure that that meets nicely in the corner. Okay, and I'm going to go around and do that to each one. Now I'm not going to decorate the box in this video because it will be much too long. So all I'm going to do is show you the basic construction of the box so that you'll be able to create a base for whatever project it is that you'd like to do. But what I will do is I will include a thumbnail of my box once it's all decorated. I'm just holding those in place to allow the glue a minute to hold. All right, so there's that. And tuck in my sides. Okay, and so once you have your sides glued down, what this does is not only gives you nice doubled up sides, reinforced, but it also gives you a beautiful clean finish so that those flaps or tabs are kind of sandwiched in between the outer sides and the inner sides. So it makes for a very beautiful, very neat finish. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the bottom. I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller. I'm going to do that very quickly so that you can see that. And then off camera, I'm going to go ahead and start decorating the box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this aperture with another decorative die cut and some vellum, and so that will close up that hole and it'll be very beautiful. And then I'm going to put a little frame around the edge and add some of my beautiful DSP. Okay, so this will go on the sides, and I'm going to cut that just a little bit smaller so that you see a little bit of the border. Okay, so that's going to be very fancy, and then the bottom is going to be a contrasting color. So let's see what we've got for the bottom here. Here's this beautiful, I think this is berry burst. So you can see that it makes a nice contrast. So, very quickly, I'll show you how I do this. So again, I'm doing this at 4 and 2. I'm making, now you can of course change the height of the walls. So if you wanted a deeper box, you could do that. But I'm just going to keep it the same for the sake of the video, just to make it simple. And I want to do one more thing to the lid of the box that I forgot to do. I'm grabbing my 1 1/4 inch punch, and I want to go ahead and put a couple of thumb holes, because this is going to be very snug, and the thumb holes will just make it so much easier to open the box. And I'm doing this on the sides only, just 2 sides, and you can see exactly how deep you went by using that scrap. And there I have my nice thumb holes. Okay, so once again, going to be doing the same procedure. Doesn't matter if you start on the right or the left. It just matters that you're consistent as you spin around so that you get those foldovers evenly placed. Okay, and again, I'm doing the very slight angle cut. Snip off the excess. I'm going to angle cut both sides of my tabs, my flap, that one can go in a little bit more. Okay. I really like my long shears for doing the boxes because it allows me to get one long cut. And they're very sharp. So I need to do this one. Okay, I think I got them all. So once again, there's your configuration. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Deb. Hi. We missed you at On Stage. It would have been nice to have seen you there. Hi, Bev. Nothing. Oh, needing boxes for a card meeting. Oh, okay. Well, this is very basic, but it's a great way. It's my favorite way to make a nice, strong, reinforced box, regardless of the size. So whatever size you need, of course, you would adjust the measurements. I'm doing I'm doing a 2-inch high by 4-inch square box, which is good for the 12 by 12 papers. All right, so there we go. Same as before. This time I'm just keeping it simple. And I'm going to add my glue to the flaps one at a time. I just find it's easier to handle one at a time so I don't get glue everywhere. the important thing is to make sure that your corners meet up as nicely as possible. Okay, and I've got a little extra cardstock there. I'm just going to snip that away, neaten that up a little bit, and your bone folder is definitely your friend here because it's going to allow you to get inside of those corners and make sure that your glue is nice and spread out without any lumps. Okay, so just kind of tuck that in. Meet up your corners. Hold it for just a moment. Give it a burnish. That kind of helps to lock it into place. One day I'll show you the box that my Aunt Flossie taught me to make that I thought was so amazing. You're not going to think it was so amazing, but at 4 years old it was a revelation. Alright, and then my last flap, I'm just going to get in there with my glue. There we go. Now, if I weren't doing the video, I would have taken the time to do the decoration for the aperture on the top as I was going along. But we had such a long video yesterday, I didn't want to do that again to you today. So I will save that for another time. But you will see how the finished box looks in the thumbnail that I'll post in a little while. Give that a good burnish. The other reason, the third reason why I love these reinforced boxes is because you get this beautiful folded edge that just feels nice instead of that rough, just cut edge. Now there are times, for instance, if you're making a 4x4 cube or an explosion box, that you can't help it because there's just not enough material on a 12x12 piece of paper to allow for the folding over. But because this box is just a little bit smaller, 2 inches instead of 4, and it easily could have been 3 inches or, you know, whatever you need for the object that you're putting inside there. It does allow me to make this really clean, beautiful inner flap that just gives it such a beautiful finished quality. Alright, so there it is. Now, you know, you can use these things, for instance, to hold your re-inkers. If you're looking for a some kind of a organizer for your desk, they're great for that. They're also good for just collecting scraps. So if you're doing a lot of die cutting, for instance, and you've got lots of little bits flying around your desk, you can just pop them into a little tray or a box like I have here. But this particular box is going to go together with the lid. So here's my lid again, and I'm just going to make sure we've got a nice fit. It fits perfectly, okay? not too tight, not too loose. All right, so there is my base. So I'm going to go ahead and do the decoration for the aperture here. I'll probably put a ribbon that I'll adhere to the bottom of the box with some double stick tape so I can tie it with a pretty bow. And then I'm going to go ahead and decorate it. And I have a lot of extra bits on my surface here. So let me just give you a little idea. So for instance, I have this little tray with all these flowers and foliage that I painted and cut out a few weeks ago. And I'm going to be using these. I'm going to be doing a little bit of paper sculpting. So if you're curious to see what that's all about, you can just go back and see the previous video. And I'll be able to use my sculpted flowers to decorate the top. So it's going to be very fancy. So stay tuned for the thumbnail. I'll be posting that later today. And I want to thank you for tuning in and watching what I do here. If you are a member of the Something Old, Something New group, and you'd like to participate in a sharing what you make using this aperture on the top of the box design, I'd love to see what you do. So please, you know, go into your stash, find some beautiful dye, and decorate your box and show us what you've made. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. I will see you on Saturday for Scrappin' Up Saturday, the debut of my scrapbook journey. I'm going to be, I think what I'm going to do is document some of the travels that I've been on lately. Those will be my first goes at scrapbooking. So I had a lot of fun on my trip to Texas, and I'll be sharing that with you. And I'm also going to be printing off photos from my brand new selfie printer. So lots of things, lots of new things and ideas to explore. So I hope to see you on Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing the Scrappin' Up Saturdays on the first Saturdays of every month. So it's just one Saturday a month, so you don't want to miss it. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I'll see you next time.